and investing in New Jersey's future. Now stay tuned for NJ Today. From the production studios of Montclair State University, this is NJ Today with Mike Schneider.
Hello again, he's back. President Obama returning to the Jersey Shore today, taking a tour with Governor Christie, getting a look at where things stand 7 months after Hurricane Sandy. Things were looking grim back then, but today both leaders were determined to demonstrate that Jersey has come back. From the time that Air Force One touched down at McGuire Air Force Base, it was clear that this was going to be something of a victory lap. The governor who saw New Jersey through its darkest hours, and the president who put up the billions to help us rebuild. Together they traveled through what had been a disaster zone, giving them a chance to see our tax dollars at work. And then they witnessed the work of sculptor Ed Jarrett, who's building the world's biggest sandcastle at Jenkinson's Boardwalk on Point Pleasant Beach.
You work from top to bottom? That's what I was doing this morning. I was actually another 10 feet up there.
The leaders then worked their way down the boardwalk without any trace of political hardball, even after the governor had more luck when they played a game of touchdown fever. Politics were not unnoticed there, of course, but then they went on to Asbury Park, where a crowd gathered outside the convention hall to hear the governor give the president a big Jersey introduction, and where the president did a big sales pitch for the Jersey Shore.
On behalf of the people of the state of New Jersey, it is my privilege to introduce the President of the United States of America.
We all understand there is still a lot of work to be done. There are homes to rebuild. There are businesses to reopen. There are landmarks and beaches and boardwalks that aren't all the way back yet. But thanks to the hard work of an awful lot of people, we've got wonderful shops and restaurants and arcades that are opening their doors. And I saw what thousands of Americans saw over Memorial Day weekend. You are stronger than the storm. After all you've dealt with, after all you've been through, the Jersey Shore is back and it is open for business. And they want all Americans to know that they're ready to welcome you here. And I've got to say, if they ever let me have any fun, I'd have some fun here. You know, I was telling my staff on the ride over, I could see being a little younger and having some fun on the Jersey Shore. I can't do that anymore. Maybe after I leave office. I think a friend of mine from here once put it pretty well. Down the shore, everything's all right. He's the only guy a president still has to call the boss, other than the First Lady. But for generations, that's what this place has been about. You know, life isn't always easy. We're people who have to work hard and do what it takes to provide for our families. But when you come here, everything's all right. You know, when I was here 7 months ago, Hurricane Sandy had just hammered communities all across the East Coast, and lives were lost, and homes and businesses were destroyed, and folks were hurting. And I remember something Chris said back then. He said, "We cannot permit that sorrow to replace the resilience that I know all New Jerseyans have." And it didn't. You didn't let it. You kept going. Because these towns have a special character, not just in the summer, but all year round. From the moment the hurricane hit, first responders worked around the clock to save lives and property. And neighbors opened their homes and their hearts to one another. And you came together as citizens to rebuild. And we're not done yet. And I want to make sure everybody understands that, because for somebody who hasn't seen their home rebuilt yet, or is still trying to get their business up and running again, after all those losses, we don't want them to think that somehow we've checked a box and we've moved on. That's part of the reason I came back. to let people know we're going to keep on going until we finish. But if anybody wondered whether the shore could ever be all right again, you got your answer this weekend. So, like I said, the Jersey Shore is back in business. The work's not over, though. 7 months ago, I promised you that your country would have your back. I told you we would not quit until the job was done, and I meant it. And we've also got to remember that rebuilding efforts like these aren't measured in weeks or months, but they're measured in years. And that's why just this past Thursday, we announced billions of new relief aid for New York and New Jersey transit agencies. And that's why the Army Corps of Engineers is working to restore beaches and strengthen the shore's natural defenses. That's why I joined Governor Christie and your representatives fighting to get a relief package through Congress. We're going to keep doing what it takes to rebuild all the way and make it better than it was before. Make it stronger than it was before. Make it more resilient than it was before.
As you might expect, a who's who of Jersey politicians turned out today to hear the president. Republicans and Democrats, and some political foes who decided that this was a pretty good time to get together. Our chief political correspondent, Aron, has the story.
They stood on the beach in a steady drizzle, sat in a grandstand, and filled up the boardwalk outside Convention Hall, including dozens of dignitaries like the governor's brother and father. Democratic gubernatorial candidate Barbara Buono was there. She met the president privately as part of a small group. It was the kind of occasion that brought together Jersey City Mayor Healy and the man who just beat him, Steve Fulop. Healy is on a White House Sandy rebuilding task force.
And I wanted Steve to come down and hear whatever was to be heard or learned from the governor and the president with this presentation today. So that's why we asked him to join us in this mission to Asbury Park.
Let me just say thank you to Jerry. Jerry had one person that he could bring, and I really appreciate him reaching out to me in order to have me a part of this today. Obviously, he's got a great relationship with the president. The president endorsed him during the campaign, so it was really nice that he reached out and extended that invitation.
As the president delivered his remarks, Governor Christie stood near the 3 Democratic members of Congress who attended. Obama's speech was short but sweet to the ears of the many local and state officials in the crowd.
One of the things that was really great to hear was that they haven't checked the box. In their minds, recovery is not over, which is a huge relief to a local official like myself, where half my community still is struggling to get home.
The president coming here acknowledging we're open for business is a huge shot in the arm. We're spending $25 million on an ad campaign. Add this to it. It'll be repeated over and over again. People are going to get the message. We are open.
But does a visit like this really change anything?
Anytime someone sees it on TV, someone sees a news report, I think it refocuses people's attention back to this area. So anytime it comes back, I think it changes the conversation a little bit.
It keeps the enthusiasm going, and and it's a reminder that, as we said, hurricane season's coming, and it starts with personal preparedness, and that's what we're working on in Hoboken.
And what about the other folks in the crowd?
I thought it was good. I love Obama. And I'm glad they're redoing the shore because we really need it.
If for nothing else, it gives us hope. Makes us feel a little bit better. I think things are in the works and they're still being improved anyway. So whether it'll change anything, I don't know. But hopefully it'll keep us going forward.
Mayors, freeholders, and legislators of both parties and from all over the state were here to witness the second Obama-Christie embrace and to support the recovery of the Jersey Shore. For NJ Today, I'm Aron in Asbury Park.